I love how Ben Franklin decided to force France into debt rather than spend a cent of the massive treasure no one knew anything about. So many heads chopped off during the French Revolution because America was cheap as apparently. Wow.
This all adds up to me, though. This actually sounds like
as the most American thing possible.
Yeah. Because we like go. I'm from America. Isn't that fiat?
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show, the madhouse for film freaks and film fans of all types. I'm your host, Brian Coddington, my fellow co-host and filmmaker, John Woolscroft.
Happy Colonizer Day, everybody. And remember to put genocide under your tree or else Uncle Sam won't bring you grain alcohol.
I was totally wondering, like, this is our July 4th episode, so how in the hell are we gonna basically be future, future, I don't know how you want to say it, like seers of the future of the country in this. And usually John will come up with some ridiculous thing, and we're recording this on Monday, July 1st, and man, the news has just been the red, white, and blue kick right in the balls this week. And I'm not feeling very patriotic, John. Are you feeling patriotic?
No. And for those of you who don't like us getting political, listen to another podcast. There's only about 14 million of them out there. But yeah, basically the Supreme Court has given Donald Trump the ability to be a dictator.
King.
Yeah, basically king. The kind of thing we tried, to get away from. So yeah.
248 years ago, we kind of fought a war to not have a king, but here we are. We couldn't even last 250 years.
Yeah, and now we have a Burger King.
Ah, yes,
yeah.
The Burger King. Oh, I don't want to go too deep down.
We don't need
here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is honestly a great episode to be talking about this movie. Is that usually we always talk about how movies are like an escape. And man, oh man, this July 4th, we really, really need an escape. And what better way to get an escape than to escape with our good old friend, Nicolas Cage. You remember the guy who wants his face off.
He's more than a man, but less than a god.
He's not a king.
Yeah, he's not a king. No,
not yet. Although I'd vote for him.
Third party candidate. Fuck RFK. Get in there, Nick.
Listen, I'd vote for a guy who clearly wants to aspire to be either Elvis or a vampire, and those two are not mutually exclusive. I'd vote for him in a heartbeat. Absolutely.
Yeah. Be our savior, Nick.
Yeah. But anyway, we're going to be talking about the 2000. What was it? What was this? 2004?
Yeah, I think
the 30-year-old movie. National Treasure, not the Book of Secrets, the original one.
Oh, Brian, you just scared the shit. I mean, no, it's a 20-year-old movie. Oh God,
is it 20? Yeah.
If it was 30, not so decrepit.
Yeah. No, we're gonna be talking about National Treasure, 2004 action adventure film that honestly feels a lot like a Michael Bay movie. Like, eerily feels like a Michael Bay movie. It's got
that energy. I feel like a lot of the next generation directors past Spielberg all wanted to make Indiana Jones, but they're like, but we want to make it like hyper and cool and explosive, like Bruckheimer's, Michael Bay's, those crop of filmmakers, and this really felt in that vein, but a little more restrained than I would say that usually something like Michael Bay puts out.
I would say so. I would say it felt less commercial. I would say that in terms of like the product placement. Like I immediately think of Michael Bay movies and immediately go, okay, which soda company is sponsoring this one?
Yeah.
But National Treasure doesn't feel quite like that. In fact, one of for me watching this in preparation for the episode, I hadn't seen this movie in probably a good couple of years just because it's not really my thing. And we really chose this because we had gone through all the Independence Day movies, and
Yeah.
You know, we already done Uncle Sam, so it's
We've
like,
done
well,
America movies.
we're
Yeah.
we're getting the bottom of the barrel here. There's a good chance that if we have a country by next year, we'll probably do National Treasure Book of Secrets. But I had seen this, you know, not when it came out. I think this was one that I like, you know, saw just when it went on like Disney Channel. And you know, it's kind of like the poor man's Indiana Jones / Lara Croft Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Kind of feels like that. It's like if you wanted to have a male version of Lara Croft Tomb Raider, you wanted to also have a little bit of Indiana Jones thrown in there too, with some red, white, and blue dick up its ass. That's pretty much National Treasure.
It's like Indiana Jones meets insert your favorite heist movie here if you're pitching it, you know. But yeah, this is actually the first time I've ever seen this movie.
Really?
Yep. And I'm not gonna lie, dear audience of Psychos Nation, like I'm trying to remember every plot point and thing in this, but there it's just like it's find a clue, go to another clue, find another clue, go to another clue, go to another location. And it's like it's mentally upsetting actually to try to keep all of the little details of this movie in one's head.
Well, I'm going to try to help you out, John, because I'll go through like the synopsis first of this movie. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, of course, from IMDb, because why not? So the synopsis for this movie is one line. A historian races to find the legendary Templar treasure before a team of mercenaries, and that's it.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
My God, I love IMDb sometimes. I really do, because sometimes you'll get these, and I here's the thing, guys. I know full well that like some podcasts you'll see about movies, they will like take the time to write a synopsis based on their watching. We don't do that, obviously. But part of the joy of finding it on third-party sites like IMDb and Wikipedia is that you see how lazy some people are at writing these. But man, one line to describe the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it could have just said Nick Cage loves treasure. They could have even gone more bluntly there. But
Nick Cage treasure like.
Yeah.
Meets pretty blonde lady.
Who
they make snoo.
And yeah, but then they start banging, even though they're probably 15 years apart. Oh, and weirdly, can we talk about Christopher Plummer and John Voight in this movie? Those
of
two
course.
they're within a decade of each other, but they're playing father and son.
Don't ask too many questions, John.
Yeah.
That's right. But speaking of Christopher, it does open up with a backstory of sorts, and we kind of get this idea of how Nicolas Cage's character, well, he's a little kid at this time. Benjamin Gates is his name, because of course he has to have a Benjamin Franklin Gates, which again, I go with like, I know this is a classic, but like to name your main character after a founding father and a general in the Revolutionary War, it just makes me go like, really? Like I literally was like, really? We're going to go, okay, fine, whatever. But he is told a story about how apparently during the mid 1800s, you know, Andrew Jackson's president, that his forefather was a stable boy for some rich asshole. Sure. And that the rich, I mean, that's pretty much it. His stable was a rich asshole, and the stable boy was trying to get the rich asshole to Andrew Jackson, but Andrew Jackson was off, I don't know, doing some fucking bullshit.
Probably being in a gunfight. Yeah.
Probably being in a gunfight, or just being a detestable human being, because if you look into Andrew Jackson's history, he's a detestable president.
Our seventh president.
Seventh, but still detestable.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was out doing whatever Andrew Jackson does. And unfortunately, this rich asshole is dying and can't tell the president about the lost Templar treasure. And what is the lost Templar treasure? It's basically the amalgamation of history's raiders, if you will, stealing and appropriating cultural icons from multiple cultures. Like, this was the thing. I don't know, John, if this like bothered you a bit, but it kind of bothered me that the Templar treasure is basically made up of stuff from cultures the Romans like sacked, from Egyptians, and other cultures, like all the gold and shit, just all piled. And apparently it just moved from rich asshole to rich asshole until we get to America.
Well, Brian, only first world white men know how to properly take care of other countries' artifacts. So that's a given.
I've thought about it afterwards. I'm like, we basically are housing the stolen gold from multiple cultures throughout history, and that's the MacGuffin that we're trying to find. And everyone's like, oh, we're gonna be super fucking rich. It's like, but you're rich with all these it's basically blood money. Yeah, it's blood money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did anyone think that maybe this is, I don't know, kind of like
a bunch of elderly syphilitic white slave owners found a way to hide all of the treasures that they looted from other countries.
Yes. And so, but apparently Benjamin Gates's forefather had a clue, and it's basically that the clue is it's the secret lies with Charlotte, which basically is like, we don't know what the fuck that means. And you get the idea that Benjamin's father, played by John Voight, as you mentioned, is like he's devoted his whole life to finding the treasure and failed, and so he hates the treasure, as you would, because if you really think about it, like, you're devoting your whole life to a treasure that doesn't exist or may exist or who knows, or that would be like, John, if I said, you know what I want in my entire life is to have the Batmobile, like from 1989, and at all costs, I will have the Batmobile. I will devote all my time and effort to getting the Batmobile from 1989. And then you realize it doesn't exist.
It was just a prop car made for a movie that they dismantled.
Yes. Yeah. That it is. Yeah. That's what I mean. It's like, I don't want a replica. I want the original.
I want actual Batman's Batmobile. He's a character in a movie.
But it's like, let me say, like, I would love to have a jetpack. I want the Rocketeer's jetpack. That's what I want. I don't want a prop. I want the real one. And I know it exists because, somebody told me about it. So I got to go find the clues to find the Rocketeer's jetpack, the real one. So like, it's a little bit like that because no one believes at all this story. It's kind of like tinfoil hat fuckery, if you get my drift here. And like, Benjamin grows up to become Nick Cage.
Yeah, and like a snapshot. And I know it's got to be deeper than this. I'm sure you're supposed to believe that there's more lore and backstory to it. But his grandfather, one night on a rainy night in the middle of the night, told him this story in a dingy attic about nonsense. And he went, I'm going to dedicate my life to proving my grandpa right. Or, I don't know. Just seems one of those, just accept it so you can understand that why Nick Cage is hunting treasure as an adult.
I mean, I thought at first, I'm like, that little boy is trying to find his dad's stag movies.
Oh,
That's what I thought.
Oh, it's like 74. So they're on like what, 16 millimeter?
Yeah, potentially.
Got to throw that in the projector.
Yeah. I mean, something to that effect. I mean, that's what any like prepubescent boy who goes up into a dingy attic in their grandfather's, they're like, hey, I'm looking for things, not treasure.
Yeah.
Porn. They're looking for porn.
Sticky Playboys. And you know what? The great thing about Playboy is after you nut, you can read that one great editorial by Norman Mailer, You
have some experience with this, don't you?
Maybe just a little. No, I actually used to get Playboy, and I got it for the articles, and everybody always went, sure you did. And I'm like, I live in the age of high-speed internet porn. Do you really think I need a magazine to see boobs?
I always did find that funny that like nowadays they still like put put porn in and Playboy specifically, because they'll have them still on racks, but they'll cover them up. And I'm just like, what's the even point anymore? Because literally on my phone, if I wanted to, I could find like 1,000 things more hardcore than what's on Playboy.
You can just Google Beebs.
Yeah, it's literally Google away.
Beebs.
It's literally Google away. But this isn't about boobs. Yeah. So Nick Cage grows up, and because he grows up to be 30, even though he's playing someone who's 30, and I'm like, you're not 30 at this time, Nicolas Cage. You're more like 40. But okay.
Well, this is the start of the movie take place in 74, so it's been 30 years.
Something like that.
So yeah, he probably would be like 40 something. But
yeah, I don't think he's 40 in this though.
No, it's the Hollywood rule where a guy can be any age, but if a woman's over 35, she should just take herself out in the back and put a bullet in her head.
That's the way Hollywood is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's in the Arctic with with Sean Bean, who doesn't die in this movie. Surprise!
I was fucking shocked, dude.
I was gonna say, like, were you totally waiting for something to kill him?
Of course, because like when I saw that he was in this, I'm like, oh, well, he has to die, and I was so waiting for it. And like, the movie was okay for me. I thought it was an average movie, but I give it like -4 stars just because Sean Bean lives. I was mad about it.
You're like, this does not sit well with me. He's like the Kenny of Hollywood, right? Yeah. He's
oh my god, Kenny. They killed Sean.
I mean, no one would say that though. It would be like, oh yeah, Sean Bean died.
Yeah,
go figure.
Oh my god, Sean Bean lived. You bastards.
Yes, that's 100% what it is. But here's the thing: this is a Disney movie, so they weren't going to kill him off.
Yeah,
you know, it's not that kind of movie. But yeah, Sean Bean plays Ian Howe, who is the financier for Benjamin Gates's treasure hunting, because the man has literally devoted his whole life to two things. Okay, he's devoted his life to two things. One is treasure hunting. The other two is diving and being a master diver. We know this because there's literally one throwaway line in there about how he's a master diver, and it's there for no reason at all.
What? Yeah, why you don't load a gun to not shoot it, you know? Like, why mention that at all if there's no underwater scene?
Well, there technically there is an underwater scene later in the movie when he does like dive off the pier.
Oh yeah.
So like that's the haha, see, he knows how to swim, but we had to say he's a master diver, which I was like, who cares? But yeah, he's going along with Sean Bean, who's living, and along with them is their plucky sidekick, because it's a Disney movie, so there has to be a sidekick. And I don't know, he's less annoying in this one. In the sequel, he's way more annoying. But Riley Poole, played by Justin Bartha, is kind of an insufferable, annoying character. He's kind of like the Kat Dennings of the MCU, if you will. Like, Kat Dennings has like that kind of off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's like, in the Thor movie, she's just there.
I mean, this guy does not have nearly as great of a rack, but
I was waiting for you to say that. I was waiting to go. It's like, well, if Riley had a rack like Kat Dennings, then it would make the movie far more better.
Yeah, I wouldn't care about any of his lines. I would just be like,
unfortunately for you, John, Riley doesn't have a rack.
Damn it.
But he's described on Wikipedia as a sardonic computer expert. Okay.
Which is a nice way of saying like socially awkward dick.
Socially awkward nerd.
Yeah. Hey nerd, why don't you go back to your nerd things?
Well, they even said that in the first, when they first introduced him, they say, oh, you're having more fun here. You could be back in a cubicle. All right, dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but our first clue is kind of revealed when they discover the Charlotte. So the Charlotte is actually, just like Will Ferrell said in Anchorman, an old wooden ship. Because it is an old wooden ship. Don't tell me why. The movie tells us that. And they go in the Charlotte. They find a whole bunch of dead skeletons and gunpowder all over the place, because that's going to be important in a minute. And they also find the second clue, which is a pipe. And Nicolas Cage, being, again, the Indiana Jones-esque character, immediately knows that he has to cut himself, put blood on the pipe, and it will reveal a message. I don't know why that's so apparent and why he immediately knows that is the solution, but he does.
This thing is so convoluted. I feel that there's probably two people out there with this movie. Either the diehards that have seen it like 100 times and can be like, it's quite simple if you break down like the chronology of the movie, like, and they'll explain every single minute detail. Or some people that went, I watched it, it was cute, and I would say, hey, can you describe the movie to me? It's like, no, Nick Cage just goes hunting for treasure, yay. It's and I wouldn't say that I'm either party. I think I was kind of emotionally indifferent to this movie, but I'm like, this is a very convoluted movie, and unless I loved it, I would never just go back to try to fill in all the sequencing gaps in my brain of, like, okay, wait, they needed Benjamin Franklin's letters or some shit at some point. I can't fucking remember. Yeah.
I'll fill you in there. Don't worry. But yeah, so the blood on the pipe reveals a message, basically saying that they have to go steal the Declaration of Independence because there's apparently a map there. And this leads, honestly, John, to, you talk about convoluted. This central problem, you realize in this moment that this was the idea that came first.
Mm-hmm.
How do we? I have the idea. I want treasure hunters to steal the Declaration of Independence. That was probably the original idea for National Treasure. Okay, right there, because I'd say a third of this movie is devoted just to that. But the way we get to there makes zero sense from just a storytelling aspect. So let me break this down for you. Okay. So first off, Sean Bean is the bad guy. Okay. Spoilers. He's the bad guy. And Surprise. He says that, well, now, aside from being incredibly wealthy and an entrepreneur, he's also a crime boss and has done some nefarious things from time to time. And he feels that it's worth exploring, stealing the Declaration of Independence. Nicolas Cage says, that's crazy. Why would you steal the Declaration of Independence? A fight ensues. Sean Bean says, I'll kill you. Causes the whole Charlotte to blow up. Surprisingly, Nicolas Cage and Riley do not blow up. And immediately in that point, Nicolas Cage says, I think we're going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
It's that kind of logic of the only way I can protect the Declaration of Independence from being stolen is to steal it.
It's fucking stupid.
That is great logic.
Like, when looking at reviews, and we're going to get to reviews in this later in the episode, I was just like, a bunch of them were just like, the only way to protect the Declaration is to steal it. Is it really though? like he immediately, they have a scene where we don't ever see it, but he says to Abigail, played by Diane Kruger, Bridget von Hammersmark for the Quentin Tarantino fans out there, that he's gone to the FBI and Homeland Security and told them that, hey, the Declaration is going to be stolen by this bad guy, and they all look at him like he's crazy.
Okay. So on that, let's just say they didn't believe him. But when the Declaration of Independence gets stolen, they can go back to these multiple warnings that were given by Nick Cage. Yeah, I don't remember his character's name. You said
Benjamin Franklin Gates.
Benjamin Franklin Gates. Yeah, I'm just gonna call him Nick Cage.
I'm just calling him Nick Cage too because he's playing Nick Cage in this.
Yeah. Said, hey, it's this guy. Go look into him, and they would go, oh, hey, weren't there multiple warnings of this the Declaration of Independence getting stolen? and then it happened like very shortly thereafter, we should maybe go and look into this guy that we were warned about, and they'd be like, oh, here it is. Let's arrest this guy and get the Declaration of Independence back. The end.
Well, you know, John, here's what gets me about this. This movie came out in 2004. Couple years removed from like 9/11, start of the Iraq War. You would think that someone saying, hey, national security thing happening.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know, guys. Kind of bungled the last one. Maybe we pay attention to this one. Like that's the thing that didn't make sense to me is like, if this movie came out in the early 90s or mid 90s, I could kind of understand the logic of someone saying like, hey, yeah, tinfoil hat man, I don't believe you. But this is like at the peak of post 9/11 paranoia.
Mm-hmm.
Like 2004, I remember 2004, we were still doing the coded colors. You remember the coded colors, John? Of orange and red and yellow.
Today's a yellow day.
Today's a yellow day. Like
on Fox, it never went under yellow.
It never went under yellow.
Yellow,
like that's
very little.
Yeah, that was the thing. Is like, and what's hilarious is that I'm pretty sure that our Gen Z audience, if they exist, have no idea what this is. But for those folks, when we lost our collective minds after 9/11, we thought that having a color-coded system that was put up on our TVs, specifically news channels like Fox News and MSNBC, would make us feel better. And it didn't.
It just tells you how much to be afraid.
How much you should be afraid. So like, but 2004, this was in the thick of that. So like, to hear that the FBI, Homeland Security, doesn't believe a fucking word that Nicolas Cage is saying about the Declaration of Independence being stolen, and that his only recourse is then, I'm going to steal the Declaration myself. It's like, okay. Now, John, do you remember the plan that they had come up with?
Oh, you mean like the 97-point plan that they based on never being in this place ever, but they're like, so I'm going to break in as a security or as a maintenance man, but then I'll change in the bathroom. All the security is going to be focused on the gala, so there won't be so many in the back, and then 3,000 other things. And the one guy's like, this could work. But I mean, I guess we kind of need that in a movie. It has to be like, you just kind of have to accept that they're going to pull this off because they're going to, you know.
Well, what I find hilarious too, and again, just going back to how ridiculous this movie is. So the schematics for the vault and the schematics for like where the Declaration is housed, its operating procedures, all of that apparently is public knowledge that can be accessed at the Library of Congress.
This is like a bad idea.
And no one asked any questions. Like, Can you imagine, John, if you just decided, hey, I'm going to go into the Library of Congress and I'm going to look up a book on bombs.
Mm-hmm.
And oh yeah, the librarians could be like, well, this is this book on munitions. This is this book on chemical weapons. And oh yeah, here's the Anarchist Almanac.
Yeah.
You know,
can I have the Anarchist cookbook, ma'am?
Yeah. So like, that's in essence what they do. And it seems like they're at the Library of Congress and Riley's like, here's the schematics here. And they're in the public where they just got done telling people, hey, the Declaration of Independence is going to get stolen. So it makes zero sense to me how they're able to get away with this. But the way they get away with this is, yes, Nicolas Cage goes in as a maintenance guy. What they had done previously was they apparently found out that the security on the Declaration is insanely tight. And that the only way to get past the security is to make it so the Declaration has to be worked on in basically the maintenance room of this thing. So
they got to give it a bath.
But yeah, I guess Riley shoots a laser because apparently lasers can cause heat on sensors. Didn't know that, but logic is gone out the window at this point. And he shoots a laser, causes the Declaration's like sensor to malfunction. So they take it in to get repaired. So because it's getting repaired, apparently where it gets repaired, there's no security at all. Like no guards.
Seems iffy. Okay.
Seems a little iffy. And that's how, Nicolas Cage is able to get down and actually steal it. But while this is going on, the quote unquote love interest, because we have to have that, could potentially screw things up.
We have to prove that Nicolas Cage is not gay. Because this is 2004. Yeah, we have to prove that he is not gay. He likes women and booty holes and boobies. He likes it all.
He can't be in a relationship with Riley. Let's just put it that way.
No. Oh, in 2004?
I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised at all.
In 2004, audiences would have rioted. Like,
they would have gone like, gay. Yeah. But Diane Kruger, who again is like, what would you say, 15 years younger than Nicolas Cage in this?
Easily, yeah.
Easily. Yeah, she plays the love interest who's in charge of the Declaration and kind of spots that, hey, this is bullshit.
Because Nick Cage acts like a weirdo.
He does. He comes into her office before this to warn her about the Declaration being stolen. And it's like, yeah, I see you've got some George Washington pins. Did you know that there's one missing here? And did you know that I've got one and I had one and I'm going to give it to you because that's how I give you my dick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, also his toast at the gala event, drawing unbelievable attention to himself. It's like, Brian, have you seen that movie In the Line of Fire with Clint Eastwood?
I have not, no.
In that movie, John Malkovich wants to assassinate the president, and Clint Eastwood is one of the president's Secret Service. And so he creates a clay gun that he can sneak in through security to assassinate the president. And in that movie, all John Malkovich does is try to draw as little fucking attention to himself as possible because he's there to try and assassinate the president. You don't go in if you're stealing the Declaration of Independence and go, hey, everybody, look at me. I'm this big fucking weirdo psychopath. Woo! And then, and they go, hey, we should probably look to see if that guy was actually on the event plan for this.
So so what you're saying, John, is that you should not toast to treason in a gala at the, archives.
I would say so. I say that might be something that you would probably frown upon,
Call them what you want. Knee knockers, thigh slappers, golden nuggets. But our friends over at Manscaped refer to them as the boys. Not every man has children, but every man is responsible for their 2 boys below the waist. And when your little guys have a little bit more hair than they need, trust Manscaped for all their grooming needs. Boys need love too, so join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com and use the code CINEMA20 to get 20% off and free shipping. You heard it first here. The boys are back in town. Now, John, it's been a little hot, a little tiny bit hot.
You ain't just whistling Dixie.
Yeah. It's been a little hot here in Pittsburgh the past week or so. So I'm going to ask you, how are your boys holding up?
Oh, I'll tell you, when it's 300 degrees outside, give or take a temperature or two, it is nice to have as little body hair as possible. And it used to be, before I had Manscaped, I was completely bald on top above my dick. It looked like Patrick Stewart's head, but my balls always looked like an old-timey gold prospector. I don't have to worry about that anymore because thanks to the Manscaped, I can actually keep my balls pretty shaven, pretty clean. And look, every man knows how scary it is getting that close down there below the waist. But that is why Manscaped is always so great for those sensitive areas. Introducing the Lawnmower family, including the Lawnmower 3.0 and the 4.0 and the 5.0 Ultra. Yes, 3 ball trimmers. Isn't that awesome?
It is. It is really awesome. Boys need love too. And for that reason, each trimmer is equipped with skin-safe technology and an LED spotlight and unique features for different grooming needs. Oh, and these babies are waterproof too. Need I say more? For the basic trim, go with the 3.0 and work your way up to the 4.0 and the 5.0 for the ultimate grooming experience.
Take it on the go. Manscaped has you covered. These trimmers come with a travel case and even a travel lock feature to avoid any accidental powering on and off or weird looks at the airport. This right here is the cutting edge of cutting pubes. Upgrade your ball trimmers and your life will follow.
Get 20% off and free shipping with the code cinema20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code cinema20 at manscaped.com. For the best your boys have ever looked, trust Manscaped.
Naked nutty buddies.
Probably not. It would be uncouth, I think is the word you would use.
Yeah.
To pull a $10,000 word out for you. But yeah, they steal the decoration, and the way they steal it is kind of funny, because at the same time that they're stealing it, Ian and his gang of weirdos are also trying to steal it. And so we get a series of sequences that, again, logic is not there. So Nicolas Cage uses at one point the Declaration of Independence as a shield to shield him from getting shot, because apparently it has like bulletproof glass all over it. So he literally uses it to stop bullets. In an elevator, he gets the Declaration out and then ends up in a gift shop where he has to spend money to get a fake Declaration, and he actually had to buy two of them, to have one as a decoy and one as the real one, to escape. And, you know, all sorts of hilarity ensue in
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans ensue, because in essence, after the Declaration's stolen, there's a little bit of a car chase. Abigail's like holding on to the back of a car, and Ian's trying to get him, and she ends up in the car with Nicolas Cage, and, you know, they find out that, you know, Ian's got the decoy and they've got the real one, and the only place they can go to next is Nicolas Cage's dad's house.
Well, because, correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't Nick Cage's dad, the next thing they need is letters written by Ben Franklin when he was 15?
Yes, they need the silence do good letters.
And they don't need them to find like something secret on the back. They just need to read them, right?
They need them because there is apparently the cipher or whatever they need on those letters. Like there's a code in the letters, and that corresponds with whatever's on the fucking map.
Well, couldn't they just Google the letters then? Or Yahoo the letters? I don't know. It's 04.
This is 04, so I imagine that Yahoo is probably...
Can they ask Jeeves the letters?
They could ask Jeeves the letters. Yeah. But it's I'm also imagining that this is 04, so we're dealing with Web 1.0. So this is still the time when it takes at least a day to download porn.
Ah, yes. You're like, oh, my minute and 47-second porno. I need at least 12 hours to get that baby.
This is still in the days of Causalite, Morpheus, and Napster. So yeah,
yeah,
all of those things, they're still real.
Well,
reality.
Aren't we LimeWire by then? Is that
2004? Yeah, we're at the LimeWires.
Ish.
Yeah. LimeWire, Causalite. That's where I think you're at with this, with 04. That's how us millennials know about time. What was your pirating software back then?
Pretty much. Yeah.
But yeah, they have to go back to Nicolas Cage's dad's house to find the silence do good letters, and Nicolas Cage's dad, played by Jon Voight, is less crazy than current Jon Voight, which is nice to remember.
Well, that's an understanding. Yeah, I mean, everybody's was less crazy than current Jon Voight.
Yeah, I was like, it's funny when you see actors that have completely lost their fucking marbles nowadays. Like, yeah. I used to love what's his face from John Carpenter's Vampires.
Oh, God, balls.
I'm blanking on names.
Oh, James Woods.
Yeah, James Woods. I used to love James Woods, and I can't really like enjoy things that he's in anymore because he's a fucking nutball. And the same goes for Jon Voight.
And a sex pervert.
Can't forget that. But yeah, Jon Voight is normal in this movie, in that he kind of has realized that he's thrown his life away in search of this treasure, and he kind of has this speech with Nicolas Cage that's always brought up, and it's you'll find another clue, and then another clue, and then another clue, and another clue, and then another clue, and then you will realize that your life is shit. It's like, he's not wrong.
Wait, I think that's the summary of the movie.
Another clue, another clue, and then your life is shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. But he also finds out that apparently John Voight got rid of the Silence Do Good letters because, of course, he donated them to the Franklin Institute in Philadelphia.
Because we need another location to go to.
Which means we have to go to the Franklin Institute. Yeah. This is one of those jet-setting ones.
Yeah, there's just so many locations and so many clues. I'm like, I mean, maybe if I was invested, maybe if like in the first 15 minutes I went, this is the greatest movie of all time, I would remember these things like precisely, like every little intricate detail. But I'm just like, we're here now. What are we?
I've got Wikipedia, John. That's the only reason that I am remembering any of these details.
Yeah.
Thank God for Wikipedia. Seriously. But they go to the Franklin Institute, and Riley, again, this is something that I've seen in other movies too, where they get some side character kid to go in and do the dirty work for the main character. So this little kid is going up, and they're paying him like $1 a piece to go and read the Silence Do Good letters to get the code. Oh, I didn't mention the map, by the way. I missed that one.
There's so much bullshit, Brian. I get
about the map.
No, just this movie in general. It's like, oh, I forgot about this little.
I forgot about how lemon juice apparently causes the map on the back of the Declaration of Independence to show up. I completely forgot about that one. Oh my God, I'm terrible.
Well, you know, it's why George Washington chopped down that lemon tree. Oh wait, it's a cherry tree. Ah, shit.
Yeah. yeah. While they were at John Voight's house, they discovered that the codes that they need, whatever the coordinates were, on the Silence Do Good letters, are on the back of the Declaration of Independence, and the only way that they can get it is by putting lemon juice and heat on the back to reveal it in like whatever sort of disappearing ink. Here's the thing about ink. After 200 and some odd years, I'm pretty sure there's no amount of lemon juice you can throw on there that's going to get that thing to work. I'm just thinking about, remember like back in the 90s when we had toys that had like disappearing and reappearing things? Like I know we always had these in like the box of cereal boxes. And I'm just thinking none of those things ever survived. And that didn't survive 10 fucking years.
And couldn't they just taken a black light to this Declaration of Independence?
You would think.
Yeah. But you also see John after he handed his cock splooge.
Ew. Gross. Nasty. Well, what did you do with the Declaration of Independence? I jerked off to it.
Yeah. I was just so impressed by us. I splooged all over the back.
Gross. All right. Getting back to being at the Franklin Institute, since I forgot completely about the lemons. They get a kid to figure out the Silence Do Good letters, and basically it spells out another clue, which is that they have to go to the Liberty Bell.
Right.
Because of course,
yeah.
It's Philadelphia, John. You've got to go to the Liberty Bell.
So we've done DC, now it's Philly. Like basically like the cradles of the founding of the country.
Yeah, it's I'm surprised that they didn't go to Monticello, or they didn't go to like the Washington Monument, or just
Plymouth Rock.
Mount Vernon. Plymouth Rock. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't just say, let's get a list of all of the American places, Mount Rushmore. Why can't we go there? And just basically jet set around these places. But yeah, they go to Independence Hall, and at right where the Liberty Bell is at, they discover a brick that again has been sitting there for like 250 some odd years, and it's still intact after 250 some odd years. And they pull it out, and there's a pair of weirdo glasses that Disney designed to be sold as a toy in a Happy Meal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Ben Franklin's testicles, diamond spectacles. His special testicles.
Well, like you remember in 1999 when the movie Wild Wild West came out, that everyone lost their fucking shit, myself included, in that we all wanted the Wild Wild West sunglasses that Burger King had in their Happy Meals.
Wiki, wow. Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, everyone lost their fucking minds. Like they all wanted those. It's a terrible movie, but we all wanted those. And I'm just looking at those glasses that Nicolas Cage has. I'm like, this was designed to be sold in a Happy Meal, wasn't it? Because it had to have been.
Mm-hmm.
But using these special spectacles, they allow him to see the back of the Declaration of Independence and see the real map. Because what we saw before was not the real map. You know.
Wasn't there a time where they needed to see that it was 2:22, but then daylight savings time didn't happen, and they got them another clue? Oh my God, this movie is like an exercise.
That was Riley's one contribution to the whole movie, because Riley, they were like, oh damn, we missed the time, it's 3:02, and Riley's like, wait a minute, this is something you guys don't know. And he used it to gloat a little bit. And I'm like, I understand that. If you're surrounded by book smart treasure hunters on a daily basis, and you've got one up on them at one point, you might want to, like, you know, savor that moment. But yeah, he says, like, daylight savings times didn't exist back then, which is right.
But also that level of currency didn't exist back then either.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah. So using the special glasses, they discover the other map there. All while this is happening, by the way, the FBI has like been on their case, run by Harvey Keitel doing his best not to. Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Sorry. Yeah.
What happens when you get the Declaration of Independence stolen? You set it in the wolf. Well, brass tacks, gentlemen. How is the Declaration being stolen?
There was a threat. We didn't deem it credible. Deem it credible now?
I'm going to go send you over to Monster Joe's truck and tow. Pick up all those little pieces of brain off the decoration and all of John Voight's jizz. Oh, God. Yeah. But, yeah, Harvey Keitel's like on their case, and this is finally where they catch Nicolas Cage, and basically he's like, I don't want to go to prison, or I don't want to do this, but I can help you out. And on top of that, while this is going on, there's like a not really double cross, but just kind of like a, hey, the enemy of my enemy is my friend type bullshit, where Abigail, Riley like make a deal with Nicolas Cage, and they start working together with Ian, who's not trying to kill them. And I kind of knew this was going to happen, but it's kind of a mishmash after this point in the story, because at this point, they decide that they're going to work with Ian, find where the treasure's at. They go to this underground like cavern in the Trinity Church, because of course the Trinity Church.
We need another location.
And yeah, this is where like Ian basically they find that there's no treasure, because of course, and oh yeah, Ian had kidnapped John Voight to kind of do the whole, you know, Dr. Jones like, I'm gonna kill your dad type thing. It's kind of replays a lot of Indiana Jones' Last Crusade. Like, I don't know about you if you felt that way.
Oh hell yes. Yeah. I was even thinking that like John Voight is like Wish.com Sean Connery.
Yeah, it felt very much like, hey, we're going to retread Last Crusade because that's all we got, you know?
Do that. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. So yeah, they find that there's no treasure there, and Nicolas Cage says that there must be another clue, and tells Ian that they have to go to the Old North Church. And if you've never seen this movie before, you might think like, oh, well, there must be another clue. It turns out it was bullshit. He knew there was no other clue and was just giving him kind of a ruse, because apparently Nicolas Cage knows everything about everything. That's kind of his whole MO in this movie, is he knows everything about everything. So he knows that there's a shaft somewhere to escape. That must be where the treasure's at.
Well, if the lady's called a Mary Sue, is Nick Cage like a Billy Bob? I mean, I would say so. I would say he's kind of a Billy Bob in this, because he does kind of have the solution to everything. You know, even when he's most imperiled, he never feels like he's like, you know, at all hurt by any of this. Yeah.
But of course, he is able to open up the secret cavern because he has the other piece of the pipe from the beginning of the movie. And of course, that opens up to the treasure room, in which we see that the treasure is real and that it's all there and that his life hasn't been completely fucking wasted. So again, I go like, this is if you, like me, you wanted the Rocketeer's jetpack. And after all of that, you finally find the real Rocketeer jetpack.
Well, Brian, this is George W.'s America. Okay, this is as capitalist as you get. You can't have some kind of metaphor for treasure and the search for it and the search for inner peace or understanding of oneself. No. You have to be rewarded with money, poo-pah. Or at least the opportunity of
it's
it.
very funny you bring that up because, you know, we just talked a minute ago about how this is kind of like Last Crusade. And with Last Crusade, the whole idea is that, you know, yes, you could get eternal youth and live forever, but there is a cost.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of have to give it up, right? Like, that's the whole thing, is that it's not worth it in the end. And that's why Indy's like, hey, I'm not doing this. And Elsa's like, I need to get it. And dies, you know?
Indy, let it go.
Yeah. So like this would be like if they found the treasure and then they decided, you know what? It needs to stay hidden. So let's turn around because no one should have this treasure. If I was writing it, that's what I would do. Right?
Yeah.
But instead, they don't do that at all because he said this is W's America and money.
You're like, it's my time. My dick fell off. I'm wasted. Yeah.
So the end of this movie is that everyone gets what they want. Okay. Ian ends up in prison because, of course, going to the old North Church, there's nothing there, and that's where Nicolas Cage sends the wolf to get him.
Because he's part of the Knights Templar.
Yes,
right?
he is. He is a Mason as well. We find that out.
And he's like, somebody needs to go down for this crime. And he's like, well, this guy's kind of a dick. And he was trying to steal it before I did. So maybe you can arrest him.
The funny thing is, he didn't actually steal the Declaration of Independence. Like, he didn't actually like go through the process of stealing it. Nicolas Cage did. So there is that.
It would be like if Mark David Chapman wanted to assassinate John Lennon, but right before he pulled his gun out, somebody else shot him. But this guy has some kind of connection with somebody from like the Masons who went, well, Mark David was going to shoot him. Let's arrest him instead. Then you can go free.
That's one way of putting it. So Ian goes to prison and Nicolas Cage gets the girl. Riley gets 1% of the treasure, which he complains about that because, again, this is 04, which is America. Money. And it complains about 1% of what is like $1 bajillion.
Yeah.
Which is still a lot of money.
Man. Yeah.
It's a very wealthy man. And Nicolas Cage is a very wealthy man, too, with his now mansion and his hot girlfriend.
Who he kind of kidnapped in a way.
I have some serious problems with their relationship in this. One, I think that Riley has more of a chance with Diane Kruger than Nicolas Cage does. Mainly because Riley actually saves her ass from getting crushed by a car.
Well, isn't there a point where Nick Cage, like in the cathedral, has her by the hands, like, do you trust me? And she's like, of course. Like they've known each other for years, and it's not.
They've known each other for 2 days,
48 hours. Yeah,
48 hours. Yeah. So their relationship makes zero sense at all, which I don't expect much from 2004 when it comes to the dynamics between female characters. She really doesn't add anything to this other than to just be, wow, she's super smart, like Nicolas Cage. That explains why they're together.
She's pretty, and we want like our male white audience who wants to live vicariously through Nick Cage to also be able in their minds to bang the white pretty girl.
Yes, of course. But yeah, that's National Treasure. Now, I did promise some terrible reviews. Usually I save this for the beginning, but there was so much to talk about because a clue leads to another clue, leads to another clue. I'm going to let the treasure be the reviews.
Ooh, goody.
So, John, you have not seen these reviews, right?
Absolutely, positively not.
Okay, so let's go to our first one here. Sean Beam, we should steal the Declaration of Independence. Nick Cage, we can't steal the Declaration of Independence. Sean Bean, I'll steal it myself. Nick Cage, not if I steal it first. I love this logic.
I have no edits. You're absolutely right. Good job.
Good job. I mean, as we mentioned earlier, that's pretty much the logic there, that I will steal it before you steal it because no one else should steal it but me. I'm the one who's it should be safer with. Okay, fine. We'll go with that. All right, let's go
to
two
people that want to kidnap somebody else's baby. It's like the baby would be better off if I kidnapped it than the other guy.
It's like, but it's still kidnapping, regardless of who's doing it. But okay. All right. Review number 2 here. Let's see what we got. This movie is for Civil War dads who love conspiracy theories. My mom thinks that Nick Cage's character was wasting his life on something stupid. I agree. This movie tried to be like Pirates of the Caribbean and The Mummy, and instead it was just stupid and lame.
I mean, can we say that he wasted his life after we found out that he was right and was made wealthy for it?
I mean, I don't. The way that this movie is designed, he did not waste his life. If this was written by someone competent, okay, then I would say he would probably end up finding something deeper than just the treasure, right? Like that's kind of what we were alluding to before, is that like Last Crusade, the whole movie is about getting to the Grail and all that fun stuff, but it ends up becoming more than just that, right? They find the Grail, yes, but that's not the end goal. It's more than that.
And also, I don't think you can say somebody that got like a billionaire to finance them globetrotting around the world as a failure. Like
No.
They got to see the world, eat the greatest food, fuck the greatest bitches, drink the greatest booze, you know.
The greatest bitches. Oh shit. I will say though, I do think that this movie is kind of post 9/11 US propaganda.
Oh, sure.
Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah.
Like
100%.
when according to that reviewer, like for the Civil War loving dad. No. This is for the I love America dads.
I jerk off to the Patriot Act.
Yes. This is called We Gotta Feel Good about all the terrible news that you're seeing. This is one of those movies. All right, let's go to review number 3 here. I'm not sure it says great things about Nick Cage's character if he needs to he needs a map to find Diane Kruger's suggested reward. Did you catch that at the end, John?
I'm not entirely sure, but I think I know abstractly what this person said.
Okay. So to fill you in, at the end of the movie, right before the credits roll,
when they're in like the park or whatever.
They're in their like front yard because that's their front yard of their mansion house.
Right. Yeah.
Diane Kruger is like, I'm drawing you a map, and he's like, what is the map to? He's like, oh, you'll see, and it's basically saying that it's drawing a map to her vagina.
All right.
I'm like it's a weird scene and a weird line that someone's like, haha, they're gonna draw a map to the bedroom to fuck.
Man, do you think the bitch would have gotten a shrimp scampi out of him first, before she drew the map right to her V hole? But good on her. She wants that Nick Cage D.
I guess so. I mean, this is Nick Cage before he started like being a vampire.
I'm a vampire.
Well, you know how like now he's got like all those rings on his fingers and like he's totally like going all in on the crazy. Like the guy he plays in all of the horror movies that he's in nowadays, he's just like, that's not a character, that's him. That's just me,
folks.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all before that. This is like right after Gone in 60 Seconds. So he's still like normal. All right.
Normal. For
Normal.
all of our non-video audiences, we just did very sarcastic air quotes.
I did one of these. Normal. Yeah. So let's look at our last review here. I love how Ben Franklin decided to force France into debt rather than spend a cent of the massive treasure no one knew anything about. So many heads chopped off during the French Revolution because America was cheap as fuck, apparently. Wow.
There's a history expert.
So John, I found that one and I was like, that's a winner right there.
That's, that's somebody who's bringing like a lot of historical logic into a movie. It's kind of like Avengers Endgame when like Cap spent his life with what's
Peggy.
her ass? Peggy, and like ignoring all of history's like greatest catastrophes, like the Challenger 9/11, JFK being assassinated. Like he's like, oh wait, the president was assassinated today. Who knew? So yeah, it's that logic where it's like, if you really think deeply about this goofy ass movie, you're gonna find some radical historical problems with it.
I just love that this person literally took all of history and wrapped it into this movie and was like, yeah, you know what? We had a debt crisis afterwards. After the Revolutionary War, France went into a revolution because they paid for us. People really did lose their fucking heads. And on top of that, we had the whiskey rebellion after that because America said, hey, we got to tax people because of the massive war that we just had. And it's like, wait a minute. You had a secret gold that we could have used to fund the war.
This all adds up to me, though. This actually sounds like
as the most American thing possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we like
gold.
I'm from America. Isn't that fiat?
That's that right there. That if that's not a TikTok, I don't know what it is. We're like gold. Oh shit. Well, that right there, my friends, is National Treasure, not Book of Secrets. John, some final thoughts on this one.
Well, this movie is certainly not a national treasure to moi. It was, I guess it was like eating nachos at 3 a.m. It's fun while I'm eating them, but then I'm going to have a stomach ache and diarrhea the next day. And that is my symbolic reference of what watching this movie was to me. It gave me mind poopies and mind, pain, otherwise known as a headache.
This one wasn't that bad for me. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't, and maybe it's because like we've watched some stinkers in the past.
Oh, this isn't a stinker. No,
it's not a stinker. It's not a stinker, but I kind of look at this as like the equivalency of me eating red, white, and blue icing. And that's it. Like if you're only eating, and this is not, by the way, this isn't the good icing, not buttercream. I'm talking like the whipped cream shit that old people eat. I hate that stuff. But it's like
that sugary frosting.
Yeah, it's like eating red, white, and blue, satin icing. There's not a whole lot of substance to this movie. Yeah, it's okay. Are you going to watch it every year? Probably not. I know there's some people out there who like they're diehard like fans of this, and they're diehard fans of the sequel. I did see the sequel in theaters at the time, and I can see why they went that way with the movie. We'll get to that one probably next year, but it's still in the same vein of like, turn your brain off, don't think too hard about this movie. And as we talked about today, I mean, the logic is completely gone from just how you get from point A to B. you know. Some things I like about it, it's it's visually fun. That's the word I would use, visually fun. I forgot that in the early 2000s there were movies that had a lot of like really snappy like editing and shit, like when they're doing the whole casing of the archives, and there's like some movement to the camera and everything. That's something fun. I remember The Italian Job did something similar with it, so it's like that's a fun thing. But outside of that, it's a lot of fluff, not a lot of substance.
Yeah, I think this is also a movie of, depends on how old you were when it came out. Excuse me. Like I was 17 or 18 when this came out. I think I'd probably I'd have a different view on it. I think if I was like 5 or 6, like I know a lot of people who are about 5 years younger than me, who their favorite Batman movie as a kid was Batman Forever. And I was 10 years old. I'm like, yeah, this is Batman. This is Tim Burton movies. But
I said the same thing.
Yeah, because we were both like 4 and 7, but by the time we were 10, but Brian, I think if you and I were both 5, we would have absolutely adored Batman Forever. And I think that's, I think it's one of those movies of, shall we say, a certain age group that enjoy it more than others.
I think that's fair. I think that's a fair assessment there. But yeah, that's National Treasure. Happy 4th of July, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah. America. Fuck yeah.
We have election between a duttering, fucking incapacitated old fool and a maniac sack of shit psychopath
who's also a duttering old fool.
Yeah, who's also a duttering old fool. I'm proud to be an American.
This isn't a political show. Just going to keep telling myself that.
I
try really hard, just so everyone knows, I try really hard not to go full deep into our politics. And especially because like I realize we're a global podcast. Like we have people who listen to us from other countries.
Yeah,
thank you to those people. Yeah, thank you, India. But like we have a lot of people listening to us from the country. So like I always wonder, I'm like, do they get like how completely fucked up it is here? But I try not to go full deep into it. But man, oh man, it's really hard. It's really hard when you look at the news. Like it's just that. And I'll be the first to say I am not at all feeling very patriotic and very proud to be an American this year. I haven't felt that way in a long time.
Well, Brian, just look at it like any other holiday or any other celebration. Just look at it as a capitalist commodification. Just like how Pride Month, which just finished up, that has ceased to be about actual pride and more about companies telling you to buy their products. So it's like, look at it as, I'm going to go out and buy fireworks and hot dogs and watch Jaws. And yeah, it doesn't really actually matter that I'm not really happy with my country right now. I'm going to consume.
I can't do that though, John. I can't do that. It's a curse, if you will. It's a curse to not be able to just turn my brain off. And as the whole country's on fire, go, it's fine. I can't.
It's the American way.
Yeah. But to everyone else who's, not feeling as depressed as I am, happy 4th of July to you all if you celebrate it. And if you're outside the country, happy Thursday.
Yeah.
Happy Thursday. Or if you listen to this after, the post-apocalypse that happens on, November of this year, enjoy the historical archive. And yeah.
And to you, Frank, I'm sorry I shot your wife. It was the apocalypse, and she was threatening to give our information to the Bone Crew, and I just couldn't have that. The Bone Crew are dangerous.
The Bone Crew. Yeah, look, it was like from Mad Max Fury Road, right? They were going to Gastown.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Well, with it said, John, where can they find you at on the internets?
Oh, let's see. Over on Facebook and the Instagrams. And over on Jay Does Video Nasties. Hey, folks. After you listening to this, it will be out, or I'm just gonna have to flog myself. But a day late and $1 short, or a day late and 200 halfpenny short. I am late on my Pride Month video. All I had was the entire fucking month to get it done, but I failed. So it is July 1st when we're recording this. That is the day that I am looking to get my In-N-Out video, my check-in on the In-N-Out done. And sorry that it is a wee bit late.
It's okay. No, don't beat yourself up, John. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. People will appreciate it anyway, right? They'll appreciate it. You've also been busy like making a movie.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Kind of, sort of. You were doing that over the weekend. I know because I was there. For me, I actually did a guest spot on another podcast that you all can take a listen to. I'll put the link to it in the description of this. So I was on the VHS Club, which we've had one of the hosts of that, Katie, who check our back catalog. We did Howard the Duck, and Katie was a guest in that, and we did a reciprocal thing where I came on as a guest in their show. John was supposed to be there. You weren't there, and you missed out.
Thanks for carrying the guard that is the Cinema Psycho show.
I had to. But I got to talk about one of my favorite terrible films, and that is, of course, the 1991 hilarious movie, Nothing But Trouble. John, you were missed just because I know you hate that movie, and I would have loved to have had basically a 3-on-1 match, if you will.
Oh, really? See, that's why I thought it was actually good in hindsight after the fact that I wasn't there. So we weren't all just barraging you.
No, Katie and Nat pretty much they hated the movie too. Although they didn't hate it as virulent as you would. But they had never seen it before. So like they were totally exposed to something brand new. And I think while talking about it, they got to appreciate it a little bit from where like I see it as, hey, this is original, even if it's terrible. And you will never see a movie like that ever made again, because no one in their right mind would give anyone complete creative control to do whatever the fuck they want in a cocaine-fueled fever dream.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
I said that on the podcast. I said that. I was like, every idea that popped into Dan Aykroyd's head on that movie, pretty much you saw on the screen. And they weren't always good ones, but man, oh man, you never will see that again. So go ahead and check out that episode. The link for it's in the description of this video and episode. Outside of that, if you've liked this podcast, do me a favor and share the podcast with your friends. I'm serious. I know that you probably know someone who's a film snob or someone who really loves movies and really loves maybe this particular, maybe they are a fan of National Treasure. Do me a favor, share this episode with them if you found this funny, or you might think that they find it funny. Outside of that, you can go to cinemapsychoshow.com/follow and follow us on all of the not all the social media platforms, but all the podcast app platforms. We've got them all there. Just go to cinemapsychoshow.com/follow, and we've got links to all those different podcast platforms. Outside of that, if you're watching us on YouTube, hey, thanks for doing that. Do me a favor, do the YouTube thing. Hit the like, hit the bell, hit the subscribe button so you never miss a new episode. With that said, we'll see you next time.
So suck off a rocket pop, fuck a bald eagle, subjugate a group of people, and watch, Jaws.